3, 2.
I know that my career has taken a hit. I don't need anybody else to tell me that.
She was like, there's no way that a court is ever going to give you full custody of your daughter if you cannot prove that you can provide adequate care in those early morning hours.
It's to the point now where I wonder, do I have to take a pause at work because I cannot give my children what they need?
And I remember a company-wide email going out about someone's baby announcement. And in the email, it said, and she was texting on her way to the hospital while in labor to close a deal.
Come on.
No joke.
I remember recently hearing a story about Lily Allen, and she talked about how kids ruined her career. She flat out said it. And that really struck me because I have found it so incredibly difficult to manage both a career that I love and children that I love. And I always knew it would be a balancing act, but it's to the point now where I wonder, do I have to take a pause at work because I cannot give my children what they need? I mean, you are a lawyer, you have 3 children at home. Does this speak to you, this struggle?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the single hardest thing I've had to do is try to find a way to have a career and thrive in that career while simultaneously being as present, as involved as a mother that I want to be. And I kind of have come to the conclusion that sometimes you can't do everything. You can't do everything to the extent that you want to. But when you're at work, you're trying to be focused on work, and you feel that sometimes they don't necessarily want to hear about the mom stuff, right? And then when you're at home, your kids don't really want to hear about the work stuff. But compartmentalizing those things is oftentimes impossible. So yeah, the struggle's real.
What about you, Sharla? You're a teacher.
Yeah.
You have 2 kids at home.
Yeah.
What's it like for you?
Well, I think the nature of my work is quite challenging because I'm a teacher, so I'm mothering in the classroom, and then I'm mothering when I get home. And it just takes a huge toll on me. And the flexibility piece, like I have to be on site in the classroom Monday to Friday, so that morning chaos of getting 2 babies ready and dropped off in time, and then at the classroom in time as well is challenging. So I'm personally actively looking for a new position. And also the work is like intellectual, physical, spiritual, emotional labor. I have to bring my whole self into my work. These are children that I'm responsible for in their growth and development. So it's not a light position.
You know, we've spoken about, at least the 3 of us, needing to potentially pull out of the workforce. And I can't speak for you guys, but for me, that feels anti-me. It feels anti-feminist. This idea that I have to trade one for the other when I've been told that I should be able to manage both. I can't really wrap my head around that. I mean, Steph, you have a kid.
Yeah.
How has having a daughter impacted your career options?
I mean, I have to be honest, the situation that you 2 are describing is completely separate from mine. Firstly, because you have more children than I do, but secondly, because my parenting arrangement is also very different. So for context, my daughter's 6. I have her for 1 week on and 1 week off. And so I'm not as burnt out as a lot of the other moms that I know. A few years ago, right around the time that I was looking to get custody, child support, and everything in legal documentation, I remember having a consultation with a lawyer and describing my work situation. And I was working for a morning show at the time, and I said, you know, my work hours are 4 a.m. to noon, which for me had been very normal. And she stopped me right there. And she was like, there's no way that a court is ever going to give you full custody of your daughter if you cannot prove that you can provide adequate care for that child in those early morning hours. And that was the first time that somebody ever really said that to me, because I had always found a way to make things work, and I have a really good support system around me. But that single-handedly got the ball rolling on being so considerate about the type of employment that I was after, the type of company that I wanted to work for, the type of money that I wanted to make, and the type of hours that I needed to be working.
Well, I think you mentioned trying to keep work separate from life, and what you just spoke to is this idea that it all merges. It really does, whether you want it to or not.
Yeah, 100%.
I'm curious, Sabrina, how has your relationship with ambition changed? Because you are an ambitious woman. How has that changed since having kids?
I mean, I think initially that ambition was still there, right? That drive was still there. And then slowly as you grow as a parent, because one thing that nobody realizes until their mom is they're growing up as a mom as their kids are growing up as kids. And I didn't realize that even about my own parents.
No.
And so as you grow into your role as a mother, that ambition and that definition of it shifts and it changes. And now, I have 3 kids, a 7, 4, and 1. And now my definition of ambition isn't necessarily what is my title? How senior am I in the company? How much responsibility do I have? How many people do I manage? Whereas that might have been what I thought ambition was before. Now my ambition is to have a job that allows me to be the best mother I can be. And in my mind, that's being present, being able to join them on school functions, being able to be home and give them a hug when they come home. But also a job that's fulfilling, where I'm learning, where I'm not just doing repetitive work, because the opportunity cost of me working is that time with my kids now. So if I'm doing something where I don't feel like I'm useful or efficient or valued, that's going to be a lot more of a significant thing for me now. So I think it's just been a shift. It's not gone, it's still there, and maybe it'll shift again, I'm sure it will. But right now, it's all about that flexibility and that respect also for being a mother, a company that says, okay, we understand it's a part of you and that means something to us.
I found that I don't know how to be ambitious anymore, given the realities of my life. And I think for me, this always strikes a nerve because I always thought of myself as being super ambitious. And I thought I would be the mom who put the kids to bed and kept working. And the reality is, it's like I get up at 5 for a moment of peace, but more often because a kid woke up. Try to get them out the door, but there's always tantrums and emotional management. Get myself out the door, commute to work, do the whole workday, get home, the second job, the emotional management. I'm often like vibrating up here, overstimulated because there's 3 screens on and people screaming and needing something. By the time I get them to bed, I cannot bring myself to work, but it's like I take that on as a personal failing. That you're better than this. Like, you are a hard worker. You should be able to do this.
I think what you're describing is something that I suffered from for a very long time, and it's like not wanting special treatment. So I remember every time I was in the workplace, because I became a mom, I was 24 when I got pregnant, and 25 when I had my daughter. And so I really hadn't proven myself like in the workplace, and I didn't also want to be the mom that had all these special exceptions and needed special treatment. I didn't want that.
That's fair.
So there was this desperation in me to prove that I could do it all. And to your question about how motherhood has changed your relationship with ambition, I don't think it changes our relationship with ambition. I think it changes our ability to hustle. Like this last year, I shut down my side business, which I started up because I felt like I wasn't doing enough because I only had one child, and I was always talking to moms who had more than one child. And, I felt like I wasn't advancing fast enough in my career. And this year, I was like, you know what? I kind of want to chill. I kind of want to relax. I want to read more books. I want to lay on my couch. I want to watch TV. I want to chill and I want to rest. So I shut down my side hustle. But that, what you're describing, I don't think it's a personal failure. I really do think that it is just a message that we receive through so many mediums that we have to be on all the time. And that if we're not on all the time, we're not spending our time wisely. But sometimes rest is a choice, and it's just as valid a choice as working or as working out and exercising. I think just having agency over what we do with our time is crucial.
Well, and you make me think too about the things that we celebrate, right? The things that we prioritize. I remember hearing from someone who worked in the TV industry, and she said, oh, you can succeed in this career with kids. I know a mom, she puts her kid to bed and then she writes until 2 a.m.
What?
And she can do it all.
How's that?
And at the time I'm like, okay, yeah, I can do that. But I remember in my gut that didn't feel that appealing. I knew in my gut that wasn't what I wanted. But do you think, Sabrina, that sometimes we celebrate the wrong things? We glorify the wrong type of work mom reality?
100%. And so much of that is tone from the top. So much of that is the people who are at the top of the companies, the top of the organizations, being responsible for the things that they're celebrating. And I can give you examples, which are unfortunate things that I've had witnessed in my career. I remember being at a law firm, and I remember a company-wide email going out about someone's baby announcement. And in the email, it said, and she was texting on her way to the hospital while in labor to close a deal.
Come on.
No joke. And
Atrocious.
that goes across the company. That goes to, you know, the 20-something-year-old articling students or summer students who are ingesting that vernacular and that mentality. And then they're going to take it with them through their whole career. So why do you think that's what you need to succeed? Because you've probably had similar instances. But I just think society has to have this level of responsibility to say, let's stop this. We don't have to be superhuman in every facet. Let's at least put aside those moments that are of the utmost, you know, sanctity, and let's just separate them from the workplace.
Sharla, I'm wondering, have you ever, we've touched on this a little bit, but experienced self-doubt when it comes to coming back to work and viewing yourself as a professional?
Yeah, I used to have such a high self-esteem in my career. I used to weigh so much of my work and my self-identity together, and I loved and took pride in all the successes that I achieved. And as I'm saying this, I'm noticing that I'm speaking in the past tense. And it's honestly, listen, this is reality. Like, the highest points in my career have been before I've had children. And I know that I'm successful in different ways now, but it's hard to reckon with. Like, I actually ran into an ex-boss recently, and I shared with them that when I was returning from mat leave, I'm gonna be going back to the classroom as a teacher. And she said to me, dumbfounded, "Are you serious, Sharla? I thought you would be the director of education by now." And I was like,
That stings.
that is so heavy. It's so loaded with judgment.
Yep.
She's a mama herself.
Oh, that's...
And it's like, I know that my career has taken a hit. I don't need anybody else to tell me that.
Well, and I think the judgment too, sometimes the most painful judgment is your own self-judgment.
Yeah.
Because
Yes.
maybe at one point you thought you'd be the director.
Yep.
It's a hard
Yes.
pill to swallow. And you also touch on a certain competitiveness that often comes with ambition.
Yes.
Watching other people get to where you want to be or thought you'd be, that's hard. That's really hard.
Women are so, to your point, self-judgmental. Like, I know stay-at-home moms who always seem to feel the need to kind of couch what they say, well, I don't work. But I'm like, you don't have to say that. I work your job, and like, I'm not doing a great job of it sometimes. So like, more power to you if you made that choice.
I do want to ask you how you show up at work differently, because you are a boss. And I think when we've talked, you've said that having a kid made you negotiate differently and approach
100%.
interactions differently.
100%. I've received a lot of really not so sound career advice from a lot of different people. And one piece of advice that I got was to never discuss your home situation in an interview. And I discuss it every single time, because how can I not? It's weird that people don't talk about their home situation more. For me, I think me being a mom is an asset. And I want to work at a place that recognizes my motherhood as an asset. But the other reason I bring it forward is because I need people to understand I don't have the grace of having a secondary partner to fall on if there is an injury, if there is a reason that I can't work for a few weeks. I don't have that margin of error that a lot of two-parent or two-person households do. I really do believe that parenthood can be an excellent tool in discussing and in negotiating career opportunities. Absolutely.
And you're not quiet about what you want to make.
I am not quiet about what I want to make. And, you know, like even with my colleagues, I've had very uncomfortable, they're not uncomfortable for me. Like, there's nothing that is off the table in a lot of my discussions. I understand that, you know, discussing your salaries can be a little bit taboo, but I feel like being transparent about that stuff is how we all win.
Yep.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Well said.
Thank you.